Delightful to be with you as always. I'm Jordan Rich, and I enjoy my times with Ken Gloss, the proprietor of the Brattle bookshop in Boston. And Kent, your IMDb page continues to grow. Now, today we're going to be talking about an event where you guys are going to be, or probably already have been by the time this podcast hits, featured on CBS Saturday Morning. It's a news show, national, so a lot of eyeballs. But you're going to tell the story behind the story.
Well, yeah, I mean, I usually, obviously, when we're talking about the Brattlecast, we're talking about books and autographs, manuscript ephemera. I just thought this would be interesting, sort of what goes in to being asked to be on one of those shows and what the procedure is, how they do it, how they decide, yes, we want to get on. And they're all different, but it's just the process that happens. And what happened with this is we got an email sort of out of the blue. It wasn't like we have a PR agent who reaches out, although I have done that and reached out, but this was totally out of the blue. We got an email, and it was a producer from CBS Saturday Morning saying, do you want to be, we were considering interviewing you. One of the people here suggested it. And at first I'm wondering, gee, that's really a major show. What's going on? Is it actually them? So I emailed back and said, yes, we'd definitely be interested. And then they, I said, okay, that's great. The first step in the process after they contacted us was they wanted to set up a Zoom meeting with two of the producers and just talk to me to see whether it would be suitable for the show. And so we set up a Zoom meeting and they get on and they were very nice. And one of the questions I asked them, they said the way their show gets done is somebody in the show pitches the idea of who gets on and then they follow through. And they said they were coming to Boston. They in the show, they also always do a restaurant segment. And they were already coming to Boston to do the restaurant segment, which I'll mention when we get there because it prompted me to do something about the restaurant. But, I said, well, who on your thing suggested it? Well, they said, well, it was the executive producer, which is immediately is good for me because usually the assistant producers have to pitch to the executive producer to get something okayed. And I figured if I already started off at this executive producer, I was all I could do was mess it up.
Yeah.
And so we talked for about a half an hour. I told him some of the stories. I gave him some of the background. I actually, since they were in New York, I actually was on the computer with Zoom, and I walked around the store sort of showing them what this looked like and what that looked like. One of the features that people like of our store is the outside books and area. And I said, this is really good, but hopefully we're doing it on a day that it's not raining when this is all covered up. And they said, fine. They said, we'll get back to you. They emailed back and they said, yes, we're going to do it. This is the time. And I said, good. Then they started asking, they got together about 5 or 7 questions. They wanted me to talk to them and respond and write. And we did that. So that was the next step. And then they said, well, there's going to be 5 people coming. There was the 2 producers, 2 people on camera and sound, and the host, whose name is Dana Jabcobson. So that actually made me happy because if you're having one of the on-air hosts coming to do the interviews, that's all, that's more serious because sometimes when they do interviews, you get the camera and you get the producers asking question, and the host is actually in studio,
Right.
fills in the questioning.
Yeah, no, I was hoping you'd bring that up because I'm obviously in the business and I know exactly how that works, and it's all done with mirrors. But it's much better to have the host there and interact.
Well, and
For
then
you. Yeah.
so one of the things that I did was I said, well, gee, I better figure out what the background and what this host is and who she is, and is there anything that we can connect with a little. And first of all, I was thrilled to hear that she um, is from she lives in the Boston area. She's from Michigan, and she's very much into sports. She worked for ESPN as a sports announcer for a while, or a sports reporter. And I saw that her first job was in a city called Traverse City. And I said, this is great, because I was doing an Antiques Roadshow. I had just going to Traverse City. So I'm going that this is really good, because I'll be able to say, I've just been to Traverse City and how nice it is. And I thought that was a good connection. But then I also realized that her husband is the play-by-play announcer for the Celtics.
Oh my goodness.
And,
Okay.
and then I'm saying,
Sure.
well, my wife Joyce worked for the Celtics for 10 years. She did the yearbooks back when Bird and Parrish and McHale were
Right.
there. So I said, this is even better, because when she comes, at least we can make a connection with that. And then they sent me about 25 questions that they said they might not ask them, but this is sort of the gist of what it is. And we went back and forth with that with the producers, and I said, fine. And I answered some of the questions, and I said, one of the problems you're going to have with me is, first of all, sometimes I don't complete a sentence. And I said, watch out for that. The other thing I said is, if you ask me a question, the problem isn't getting an answer. It's getting me to stop answering. And of course, their response to that was, boy, we're happy to hear that, because the last thing they want is you ask a question and someone says, no, yes.
Couldn't agree more. That's my nightmare in my business and in theirs as well.
So then the day that they're coming, they said they were going to come, I think, on a Wednesday, but they were going to be in Boston on a Monday, because they had to do this restaurant before us. And I was talking to the producer, who we chatting a lot on the phone, and she said, well, we're going to be there, but we have to be done by about 5:45, because I've got to get on a train back to New York at 6:30. And I said, well, we're only this far from South Station. She said, well, no, I'm staying in Copley Square. And I said, oh, and you're real near the train station? And I said, well, I live right near the Lenox Hotel. She said, oh, that's the one we're staying at.
Oh my goodness.
So, again, trying to make connections.
Very small world, yeah.
The day before they came, I knew that they were in Boston, and I actually texted her and I said, there's a chance of rain tomorrow. Is there any chance even that your camera people could come here and just do B-roll, just taking pictures of our lot? And she said, we really can't do that, but we'll be there tomorrow around 1:00. We closed off our third floor. They told us they were going to want us to move some of the furniture around to get a better view. They got there right on time. And one of the things that I knew we were in good shape about, the woman who is the host, Dana Jabcobson, she came last, but she brought all the lunch. She actually had called, usually the quote talent, it's usually the assistants who are all running around doing
the PAs, right?
And when the minute we heard that, we go, oh, this is a really good sign that she. And it turned out that we got to talking. They were there for a couple of hours, getting the lighting right, getting everything right.
Right.
I had a few props. I had a lot of stories to tell, and I had some pictures. And so there were about 3.5 hours of filming, taping, talking. One of the things that I found fascinating, though, is we were doing it on our third floor rear book, out where the rear books were. We had it closed off. We disconnected the phones, but they were in our office. And when they were by themselves, they were talking about, okay, now tomorrow we've got to go do this, or next week we've got to do this, or I just pitched that. I wonder if the producers are going to go, and sort of hearing the talk behind the scene and realizing, yeah, it's like a job. It's, is the boss going to like this? Are we going to get along with this? How's this person that we're going to interview? How's that going to go? And sort of just hear them among themselves, I found fascinating. Next phase of it was they're editing it. As I'm talking to you now, they're doing the final editing.
Right.
But they asked me, do I have any pictures of when I was like 5 years old in the store? Do I have pictures of the old stores?
Yeah.
Do I have pictures of my father? The giveaways? Do I have pictures of the different buildings? Do I have pictures of when the fire happened here in 1980? And I said, I have some. I'm not sure if I have them all. And what I did is I took pictures of the pictures and then texted them to them. And about a week later, I get another call, and they said, do you have the originals? A picture of a picture doesn't look as good. So then we had to go find the originals and then scan everything. And then they said, well, do you have any more? So for about a week, we've been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we seem to be getting what they want. Now I'm hoping that they don't get edited out. They're doing a lot of work. I don't think I will. And I'm hoping that when they do it, and I say how much I loved it, but it's a big national thing.
Sure.
I'm hoping that I'll be able to put a link to the show on my website.
I'm predicting you will, but I have to ask you the question that has me on the edge of my seat. What was the restaurant?
Oh, well, this is the part about it. The restaurant they did was Oleana.
Oh, yes, right.
It's actually, my wife and I, we love it, but we hadn't been there for a while. And I'm saying, I went home and I said, why don't we go to Oleana for your birthday, which is around the beginning of September? I said, we haven't been there for a while. The pandemic really, it's a fabulous restaurant. When I heard when they told me that's where they'd been, I said, oh, that's fabulous. The thing is, we wanted a reservation for the beginning of September, and this is showing hopefully the end of August. I said to Joyce, make the reservation now.
Yeah.
Get it before, because the minute that show hits, we're not going to be able to get a reservation for 6 months.
No, you're right. And your phone at the store is going to start ringing a lot too, because that's the way it works.
We hope it does, obviously. But what I find it fascinating. Not only, obviously, I'm absolutely thrilled that they would consider us, have us on. And as far as I can tell, everybody was happy with the way the taping went and where the editing is going. But just the fact that they wanted to have us on, and the publicity and the PR is obviously very good. And I'll be very interested to see what the response is.
Now, I'm asking you this question not because of your last name, but it ties in. Did you require any makeup under the lights? Because your name is Gloss, sometimes the lights get...
No, they didn't. They didn't ask for makeup. They didn't have a makeup person with them.
Well, they knew you were a handsome devil and didn't need it. That's probably what happened.
I don't know about that, but their lighting people, the two doing the lighting and camera work, they were really watching it closely. And I have a feeling if something wasn't quite there, they probably had a little set aside for me. But
they can do a lot of magical things, and you're dealing with network, and network people are usually at the top of their game. So
and the two cameramen were both from New York also, and they were really good. And the other thing that you can really tell when a person who comes, that they were really friendly, they were really nice, they were really easy to work with. And a lot of times you could just tell how professional they were. It was just boom, boom, boom. A lot of times, what we get, since we're near a lot of colleges, we'll get kids who are in school and they'll come in and can we do an interview and a camera? And I always say yes, uh, unless they get out of control. But you can see the big difference sometimes from a student learning how to do something to a professional crew that comes in, boom, 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 and friendly and nice and say,
Right.
well, can we do this? Now, also, we've done this enough that we're ready. And if they say, please change this, please do this, get this ready, we're all ready for that too.
Well, you're a pro. You've been at it a long time. Movies, television shows, podcasts, needless to say.
I think, quite honestly, I think one of the things that might have interested them in doing it is I think they had seen The Holdovers, which was shot here a couple
Oh,
of
right.
years
We did a
ago.
podcast on that. Right.
Yeah, but I think they had maybe seen the movie,
Yes.
connected it, and that might have been helping for them deciding to do this.
It's all about connections and contacts and spreading the word. Congratulations, Ken.
Thank you. And normally I say to people at the end of the podcast, if you have suggestions, ideas, connections, let me know. This time I say, if you have a TV movie production, something like that you want us to take part in, don't hesitate to get in touch.
One of the most active and eager guys. If you put a camera on, he's ready to go.
Don't get between me and the camera, though.
Ken Gloss joining me, Jordan Rich. Brattlecast is coming your way again real soon. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Jordan.